My mom, Glenna, died by suicide on December 11th, 2011. She was a day away from her 58th birthday. I want to honor her in the best way possible. She had a beautiful soul, a great heart. She adored her grandchildren, her children, her mother, and her family. She loved to have fun, and she was spontaneous and was never afraid to do what she wanted to do. She didn't have many material things, but she would give the shirt off her back to help another person in need. She was non-judgmental of others and was a true free spirit. With that being said, my mom struggled her whole life. She struggled with drug and alcohol addiction. She struggled to be understood. She struggled with her relationships. She struggled to get well. She struggled to find herself. There were times when she would get better, but it would take one thing to send her back to that place of despair. Anyone that has a loved one with a mental illness or drug and alcohol addiction knows that living with it can be difficult. My mom was no different. It was hard to be around her at times, and it was stressful living in the unpredictability of what she would do next. I've always said that the only thing that you could predict about my mom was that she was unpredictable. I felt frustrated and hurt not to have my mom be there when I needed her at times. But her story isn't about me. She did the best she could with what she knew, and for that, I'm grateful. When I got the call that she died, everything started to go in slow motion. I felt like it wasn't real, like I was dreaming. Except it wasn't a dream, it was a nightmare. Sorry. I remember I kept shaking my head back and forth saying, no, she can't be gone. I remember every single detail of that day. I feel like with that one phone call, my very being was hit and shattered into a million pieces. The pieces were like a broken mirror that would never look the same again. The day I went to pick out a dress for her funeral, a man at the front of the store tried to sell me a newspaper. I simply said to him, no thank you, but what I really wanted to say was, I don't care about a piece of paper, my mom just died. Nothing else mattered. That's all I could think about. How could people just be normal when I was feeling this unbearable pain? I just wanted a hug. I just wanted to erase the image from my mind. I just wanted last week back. I hated feeling the way that I did. I didn't know what to say when people asked me how she died. I didn't want to tell them, so I just said I didn't know. I was waiting to get the confirmation back from the autopsy that it was true, even though all the evidence was there. I didn't want to believe that my mom took her own life. I felt scared, ashamed, embarrassed, and worried. I wondered if I'd be judged. I couldn't even talk about it with anyone. People said things that were hurtful. Literally right after my mom died, an ex-in-law said to me it was probably for the best. I don't know whose best she was talking about, but it certainly wasn't mine or my family's. After everything settled down and everyone got back to their life, there were times I would sit on the couch in my front room and think, what the hell just happened? How am I going to go on? It hurt. It hurt like a pain I thought would never go away. When the fog started to lift from the shock a couple months later, then came the emotions. They came like a storm in the middle of the night that I wasn't prepared for. I had no cellar to go to. I was swept up in a tornado of anger, hurt, despair, guilt, and shame. There were many times I laid on my bathroom floor crying, curled up in the fetal position, feeling the pain. I specifically remember times I would be driving in my car and drive by the place that my mom passed and feel so angry at her, I would hit my steering wheel, I would scream in my car. I just wanted out of that hell. I didn't want to feel the pain, I wanted it to go away. I made choices I wouldn't have normally made at times because the pain was too unbearable. Along the way, in my grief, I believed it would be okay. I made a choice to feel it. I had remembered that when I gave birth to my daughters, the pain would get to the point of unbearable and then it would subside. It always got better. There were times that I couldn't go there though. I had to make dinner for my family or care for my children. I remember more than once I had to be sent home from work because I couldn't stop crying. I wondered if I would ever get better. I went to a support group which helped me tremendously. I felt heard and not alone in my pain. I got hugs there, lots of hugs. Not the light pat on my back hug, but a heartfelt hug. I wrote in my journal. I sat on my front steps in the early mornings and I thought and I pondered, why me? One day I got an epiphany, why not me? Why couldn't I make a difference in someone else's life with my pain? Is it fair that my mom died this way? No, but I never learned that life was fair. The day that my mom passed, I specifically remember riding in the car with my sister and I said to her, Mom didn't die for nothing. I'm going to do something with this. I knew in my heart she didn't die in vain. I would do something with her tragedy by helping others. I didn't know how, considering what a mess I was and how anxious I felt, but I believed I could. I feel my mom's presence at times, but it's not laden with the sadness that emanated from her when she was here. I know in my heart that she's at peace. I know she wants me to go on and live life to its fullest, not only for me, but for my daughters too. I have perspective now. I know what a bad day is. A bad day is when my mom died by suicide. I survived through it. It's been nearly 4 years now, and I can honestly say I'm happier and more at peace than I've ever been. Yes, I miss her dearly. I still feel grief-stricken at times, especially when it comes to my daughters and her not being here with them. But I believe in my heart that she lives on through my children and I, and we will see her again someday. Some people believe that those that die by suicide are weak. I disagree. We never know what another person is struggling with. I think about how many times my mom made it through another day feeling the way that she did. My mom was one of the strongest women I've ever known. I'm not here to judge her, nor have all the answers. Everyone has their own journey and their own way of coping. There's no right or wrong way of dealing with the pain. My experience has taught me to feel the pain and trust that it will subside. By doing that, I believe life can be experienced more fully and deeply, which allows for healing to happen. There are so many stages of the process, and there's no right or wrong way of dealing with them. A couple of weeks after my mom passed, I drove down to the police station and picked up the note that she left. It's still tightly sealed in the manila envelope that they put it in. I'm not ready to open it for many reasons. I don't know all those reasons, but I'm trusting my judgment. I believe it's okay to accept where you're at and give yourself compassion. We're all human and we're all learning. Although at times I feel alone, I know that I'm not alone. My relationships have changed and shifted over these last 4 years. I think sometimes people don't know what to say, so they don't say anything. If I could say anything to those people, is that words aren't necessary, but a hug speaks volumes. It's okay to say her name to me and talk about her. It's not going to make it hurt any more than it already does. In fact, for me, it's quite comforting. I'm far from perfect, but I'm doing the best to raise my daughters as a single mom with dignity and love. I'm in graduate school now, working towards my master's in social work. I'm leading a support group with Biker Dads Against Drunk Driving for survivors of suicide loss. I write, I speak, and I'm being honest about my experience because that's what works for me, and that's what helps me heal. At the end of the day, we all close our eyes with the same hope that tomorrow will be a better day. We all want love, and we all want acceptance. We all want peace. If you're struggling to find peace, know that there are many resources here at this walk that can help you on your healing journey. You're not alone in your pain, and there are people that care. I will leave you with something that my mom used to say to me when I would worry about things. She used to say, Amy, don't sweat the small stuff. I can never get my mom back, but I can give back what she taught me, which is love. Thank you.